Hey, what's up everyone? So in Jagged Alliance 3, there's two free mercenaries that I've found so far. The first one that I'm showing here is initially 7,000, but there's no weekly upkeep fee for them like all the other mercenaries. So you get them by accessing the IMP website. You want to go to where it says login, and it requires a password, which you can get access to by having a password reset to your email. I believe the password's the same for everyone, which is XCP625. And it'll ask you 10 ridiculous questions. Based on the answers, it'll build you a mercenary. You can alter the stats of the mercenary though. He'll be deployed on the H1 square at the very start of the map. For the next mercenary, you'll want to head on over to H8, as you'll need to collect some diamonds, and you'll have to make your way over to H9 eventually, as you'll be looking for an antidote to restore the memory of a character named Larry. Once you liberate the town, you can talk to Father Tooker, and he'll sell you a bunch of diamonds if you need them, which is required for the antidote. If you're like me and you got Ivan with you, you sold every single diamond in your possession. I also didn't name my other mercenary, and you just ended up with the name not a valid UTF. So something interesting about Father Tooker is if you have Fox with you, she can get a reduced price on the diamond purchasing and a increased price on the diamond selling, as she'll end up flirting with the father. Once you have the diamonds, you want to head on over to the H9 square and liberate that town. You want to talk to a character named Lee Waylander, which looks totally trustworthy based on his appearance, as he wants diamonds in exchange for random loot boxes. One of those loot boxes will contain the antidote that you need, but it is totally random, as one time I got it on the third diamond, and another time I gave him like 5 or 6 and just didn't get it at all. The one thing that you want to make sure of though is that you have a clear inventory for the item, as there's no like separate quest item inventory, and I just like totally lost it when I got it the first time. I don't know if it was on another mercenary that left the group, or I just didn't have inventory space for it. So when I came back and had to do it again, that's when I saw how random it is on actually getting the antidote that you need. Also, on another note of inventory management, I was getting rid of Ivan, and I just couldn't afford him anymore. I had him for like 3 weeks or something, and I was just broke. And I saw that you can take off all of his armor, which he's got a lot of good armor, so something to keep in mind. As you might as well put it on a mercenary that is more permanent, that you don't have to pay an upkeep for, as this game relies heavily on cash resource management, and you don't really get much of it. Next, you want to head on over to the F7 square, and that's where your other mercenary will be. I initially went here first, and you have to convince him that he's got amnesia, which I did with Fox, but I ended up losing Fox because I just couldn't afford her, and I went in there with Ivan and not a UTF. And neither of them could convince him that he had amnesia, since you have to have a high medical stat for that. So I had to wait a few days for my mind to generate some money, and then just end up hiring her back. Then I was able to hand on over the antidote to Larry and recruit him as a not so free mercenary that took like 3 or 4 or 5 diamonds. But he's another one that doesn't require a upkeep fee, which is really nice. He is surrounded by a bunch of mines though, and once I recruited him, he instantly took a mine, so I decided to go in there and try to trigger them all before actually recruiting him this time. I mean, I assumed he'd be totally immune, as he's the one that set up all these mines. It does come with some unique perks and some really high explosive stats. Really curious to see the banter between him and some of the other mercenaries too, as he seems like a really unique, hilarious character. That's all I got for now. Hopefully this helps you out, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.